Ontario's newly minted Housing Minister Paul Calandra says he is working to launch a promised review of Greenbelt development that could see more land removed from the region as part of a suite of measures proposed on the file Wednesday. Speaking to reporters at Queen's Park, Calandra said he asked his Deputy Minister of Housing Tuesday to put in place a fulsome review of the process in which the lands were chosen to be removed from the protected region. This is what Minister Calandra is saying.
And so with that, the Premier, as you know, yesterday directed me to begin a further review of the Greenbelt. A complete review of the Greenbelt, as you know, the Greenbelt was scheduled to be reviewed by 2025. It's part of the legislation that was put in place at its creation. We will begin that review very soon. I've spoken to my Deputy Minister yesterday and asked her to put in place a fulsome review of the Greenbelt, to give me options for that review to ensure that it is a public, open and accountable process. As I said, once I have that, I will be coming to you, but that review will start very, very soon. Honestly, looking forward to that process. At the same time, as the Premier said yesterday, the review will include the 14 parcels of land that were removed from the Greenbelts. We will include that in our review. But at the same time, I have spoken to the provincial facilitator yesterday, lands facilitator yesterday. I reiterated my commitment to ensuring that we get shovels in the ground, but also to ensuring that on the 14 sites that she continue her work, but that work must include significant community benefits. As we've said, that community benefits have to include roads, schools, community centers, hospitals, and a protection of any natural heritage features within those sites. Once that work is completed, and I'm hoping to have that work completed by the end of the year, we will make that public. We will ensure that you have access to what it is that we are considering on those sites, and that will then be fed into the full review of the Greenbelt. That will be underway by that point. So it's two levels of accountability, and I think it's very, very important that we continue to do that. We want to, of course, continue our work on building 1.5 million homes, but we want to ensure the highest level of accountability on those sites and on future sites. At the same time, I will be moving to ensure that there are additional accountability measures moving forward. So I've asked the department to give me recommendations and options to revise the ministerial zoning order policy. I want to be able to restrict the transfer or sale of lands and make this retroactive to 2018. I want to ensure that any lands that have been rezoned using a ministerial zoning order for the purpose of meeting our goals of building 1.5 million homes are used for that purpose.
The new minister said he isn't clear on what the review will entail, but that it is possible that it could require the government to remove or add lands. The appearance marked Calandra's first as housing minister after Steve Clark resigned Monday in the wake of two damning Greenbelt reports outlining a deeply flawed process that favors certain developers and lacked transparency. Calandra said he intends to introduce a use it or lose it policy if developers are found to have contravened regulations or are not meeting the PC's housing goals. He said, "I'm working with the department. I have instructed them, as they said, to bring forward a use it or lose it policy. We have to put shovels in the ground, and we are relying on our partners in the development industry to get those shovels in the ground faster." Further measures floated by Calandra Wednesday included options for speculation and cancellation penalties, additional consumer protections such as increased penalties for cancellation of purchase agreements and increased penalties for extortion of purchase agreements, and a potential increase of the non-resident speculation tax promised 25%. When asked if the Ford government would pause the issuing of ministerial zoning orders, MZOs, which allow the government to override local government's decision on land use, pending the review, Calandra said it would not.